realized I didn't have my audio turned on, so you're going to get to listen to me rattle a little bit here. I am going to go to embroidery on my machine, and I need to touch the pocket for memory. The design over wirelessly, so I touch the wireless icon, and there is my moon block right there, and I hit set. And embroidery, we are ready to go. I have a 5x7 hoop with no-show poly mesh in it, and I am going to go ahead and use some Kimberbell glitter vinyl for the moon block. I have some gold thread in the needle already, and I don't think I want to change it, and it is going to stitch down the placement line for the batting right now. Set it on top of the placement line and make sure it's completely covered. And you want to put about a ½ inch all the way around extra, so you're going to have enough to trim away. It's going to go around twice. Now you want to remove the hoop and trim away the batting. You want to do your trimming on a firm surface so that you don't inadvertently end up popping out your hoop from the project from the hoop. Trim pretty close to the stitching. All right, and put your hoop back in the machine. Now it's going to do the placement line for the night sky fabric. Place your fabric over the placement line, and here at the bottom you want to cover that by about 1/4 inch. You want to make sure you've got about 1 inch all the way around outside of the other 3 sides of that placement line. And the tack down stitch is here where I noticed I still had gold thread in, and I needed to stop it and switch it out to black. I'll probably use a Sharpie to color that in a little bit. And I'm going to use the needle plus minus button to back up to the beginning of that stitch again, and then stitch over it in black. Time for a thread color change to yellow so I can stitch the outline for the moon, the placement line. And now I'm going to stitch the placement line for the moon. Got a little scrap. I'm going to see if it fits. I think it does, and it does. So if you use this vinyl, you need to pull away the clear cover off of the vinyl first. You don't want to stitch through that. Throw that away. I want to trim that little thread sticking up back there. I like to hold the thread up with a pair of tweezers and then trim it very close. So my scrap just barely covers the stitching line, so I'm going to use some tape and tape it down so that it doesn't shift at all during the tack down process. That's Kimberbell's paper tape. Now it's going to do the tack down stitch. So this barely made it. I love being able to use up little scraps. And you want to remove the hoop from the machine and trim around the vinyl. After I get it trimmed, I'm going to take it over to the ironing board, and with a press cloth, I'm going to press the vinyl onto the fabric. And that's when I realized my sound wasn't working. One of those days, guys. Okay, it is going to do the final satin stitch around the moon. I'm going to do a thread color change to a dark gray for the bats. All right, next is the placement line for the accent fabric. I'm just going to leave the thread as is. Okay, now you want to put your fabric face down. Mine doesn't have a side because it's a solid. So I'm going to place it face down, and you want most of it to cover the moon because we're going to fold it back over. But you need to cover up that little bit of black. I'm going to do a thread color change now back to black. And I'm going to fold this over to cover the batting and crease it with my nail a little bit. Give it a nice good crease and hold it taut, and take a piece of tape and hold that, let the tape hold it down. There. Okay. And now it's going to stitch around the outside and tack that down. I don't want to do a thread change right now. I'm going to jump all the way to the last stitch. Let me show you on the screen. This is how I'm minimizing thread changes. This last motif stitch on either side of the candy corns, I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to hit needle plus minus, and where I can thread plus minus, I'm going to jump ahead to the black motif right there. And I'm going to let it do its thing. And when it finishes, it's going to think it's done, and I'm going to go back into the design and jump ahead until I get to the candy corns. Just so I don't have to change threads. Okay. I'm going to click OK, and I am still in the needle plus minus mode. So my preview right here is showing me the very first stitch once again. I'm going to jump ahead by cycling through all of the thread changes until I get to the very first part of the candy corns. There they are. Perfect. Now I'm going to change my thread again. It just saved me one thread change to do that. I don't mind it a bit. Thread color change to orange for the middle of the candy corn. Oh, I played Bob and Chicken and lost. Dang it. Okay, on my machine, what I need to do, let me back out and show you. On the Luminaire and on the Solaris, I don't know about other machines, there's this little button right here that is a circle, and that's a knot. And so I'm going to do a tie-off knot right now. And then I'm going to cut. I do like having a bobbin sensor on this thing. I was wondering. All right. So that little knot button is very, very handy. And hit return, and I'm just going to finish from here. All right, that's actually the last stitch because I had already done that motif. Time to trim it. I'm going to break out my rotating mat. Those are very handy. Okay, you want to trim within 1/2 inch of that outer stitch line. came out adorable.